Alrighty, what is up, guys? Aldo here. If you enjoy the content, leave a like. Wanted to give you an update on Bitcoin, why we could break out pretty soon, either up or down pretty soon. Wanted to show you this trade. Been in this trade for kind of a while now. This is a Bitcoin long that I've been in for at least a few days now. Hopefully, we'll pump up higher. If we don't, you got the profit locked in right here. So that's that. And check out the Discord down below if you want to get some of these trade entries, me and two other pro analysts. And also check out the links to FAIRDESK and MEXC if you're an experienced trader, if you do want to trade yourself. So check that out. Now, if we move on to Bitcoin, why I think we're going to break out pretty soon, we're in kind of this, I mean, you could argue, kind of triangle pattern, range bound, bull pennant, whatever. I'm not the biggest traditional TA guy. Sometimes I forget the names of some of these patterns, but once you do this for long enough, you kind of know where to draw the lines. And if we break upward, probably going to get up to around this spiral line at 33. If you break downward, you're probably going to go back down to around this area. Now, let me just see. Depends. It's a little subjective where you could draw it out. I mean, some people would draw it out from kind of there to there, that high to kind of that low right there, but generally close to that spiral line or down below here. Maybe it takes a little bit longer to break out too. If it takes longer, then that wouldn't be as high there. But it's an approximate thing. It's pretty subjective. Now, if we're talking about the bullish case, let's talk about the bullish case first, because I think there's a pretty strong bullish case here. And if you look at the 3 hour, this VWAP starting to come up, you make it a trigger wave on the 3 hour that jumps us up and brings us up all the way up to 33K relatively soon. Also, if you look at crossing into the red here on the hourly, maybe that red is the buy signal. Maybe that anchor wave kind of is the buy signal when we break upward, or maybe it's kind of the bear signal and you just dump downward based on that. If you look at some lower time frames here, I know normally you should go from higher to lower, but if you're really experienced doing this for a long time, it doesn't really matter because it's kind of like riding a bike at some point. You just know it so well. But some lower time frames, I would say money flow and all that is kind of indicating to me that most likely we would kind of break upward out of this. Now, if you look at probably more of the bearish case, you got the 5 hour money flows coming out. You got the bearish div, money flow starting to come out there. That would tell me more of the bearish case that we're going to break down. However, once you get up to the 8 hour and the 12 hour and all of these, you're not getting a bearish div just yet, and money flow is still pretty strong there, especially on that 8 hour. Kind of looks like we have some continuation until we get a bear div. Maybe you come up here and then you finally get a bear div there, and then you get a little bit of a lower momentum wave, something like that, and you finally see a pullback there. Maybe we don't get quite up to 37, 38K. Don't get quite up to this spiral line, at least not right away. You come down a bit and then you jump back up. So that's that possibility as well. I would say more of the 2-day, which is interesting here, would kind of be a little bit more of the bearish case, at least maybe not in the really short term, but you do have a trend reversal sign on the 2-day. Trend reversal sign back here brought you down. That one brought you down. This one obviously brought you up. That same one kind of brought you up. Curious if we repeat something like this. I mean, you obviously did come up higher, but whoa, that would be right up to 37, that area right there, if you do repeat that, and that would be around mid-July, so next 2 weeks essentially. And let's just look at where we peaked out in 2019. If 37 ends up being, that was end of June, so generally kind of the same area. If 37 ends up being, I don't know, the high for this year or something, we'll see how it looks obviously after that, but something to keep in mind. I mean, unless you really think we're going into a new bull run and maybe going higher than that, I think you're going to see a correction after that, maybe back down to ultimately, let me show you on this chart. This was one prediction I was talking about. So essentially, this is what I think would happen if we go up to the 37, 38K kind of area. The jump up to 37, 38K, in the next couple weeks or something, maybe by the end of July. After that, I think you're going to see some type of drop down, similar to maybe over here or something in the later half of the year. Maybe the Fed interest rate hikes. Betting odds are showing they're going to raise rates by 25 basis points in July, I believe. Maybe that kind of ends the fun for a bit and we kind of get back to reality there. We come down maybe back to, I think if we come up to 37, you're not going, you're probably not going under 20K. You probably could, hit this is your 300 weekly moving average, 22, it would be around there. I think that would be a feasible kind of like 22, 21. as some type of correction like that. Let's see where that would bring that. Yeah, maybe a 40% or something, maybe even less. Who knows? And then I think you're going to get a pre-halvening kind of run up. From there, I think it's going to be kind of a roller coaster. You're going to get a nice run up into the halvening, and then after that, you're going to shake out some more weak hands. And I don't think it's going to get real exciting until probably later in 2024 into 2025. That's what I'm thinking. And then you're probably going to get that mania phase like we saw, the last two times, the last two bull markets. So it's kind of my estimate if we make it up that high. If we don't make it up to 37, if we reject, from 30K here, looking a little less likely. If we reject from 30K here, come down, you got a stronger chance of making a double bottom, revisiting the sub 20K areas. As of right now, it looks a little bit more bullish. Definitely looks a little bit more bullish, but what we got to keep in mind, guys, is, it doesn't mean FOMO all your money into financial advice. Don't FOMO everything into risky alts and ETH, because this looks like it's going to keep bleeding. And I think what may happen here is, say Bitcoin goes up to 37, 38K. I think it's still going to be a Bitcoin dominant rally, most likely. Maybe we hit 37, 38K as it hits this major point right here, that low of June in 2022. Then after that, when we really dump down, then ETH continues to really get hit hard, and it could potentially keep bleeding out here. So don't get fooled in this trap. We're not there quite yet. We're going to be there. I'm going to start DCAing into ETH and converting some of my Bitcoin over to ETH when the time is right, but I don't think we're there quite yet. I want to, a few more months for ETH and all coins, I ultimately think. So that's the biggest, because that's the biggest thing people have been getting, and for the long term, been getting trapped in here. A lot of people were buying alts, all through this area. Some of them just made lower lows pretty recently. I mean, Bitcoin has just demolished alts, even including ETH. I mean, look at 28% down. You can't deny that. That's something we really got to pay attention to. Doesn't mean I'm some, crazy Bitcoin, maxi perma bear or something. It just means that we got to look at history and look at what happened, over this time into the top in September of 2019. Then, this still, money flow is still strong here. I would be waiting at minimum until we get, a bearish div confirmed in the weekly here, with money flow starting to come out, to start getting into kind of altcoins. Also, the 2 week coming into the green here, I'd be keeping my eye open for that. I'm thinking mid 50s is going to be the sweet spot to start getting into alts, probably even NFTs, you name it. You know what I mean? Riskier stuff. But right now, if you're going to buy alts, what I say to people, it's like, I knew somebody who used to hoard stuff in their small condo. They used to just all this garbage and stuff. And a person I knew used to tell them, just store it at Home Depot. Just get rid of it and buy it when you need it. If you're going to buy alts and ETH, store them in Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but that's what I think. Store them in Bitcoin and then buy them when the time is right. So that's what I'm looking at right now. A few of them do look a little bit bottomy. For example, AVAX. I was talking about this on Paul Barron the other day. We were talking about this. I mean, if, this does look kind of bottomy here, but, say we rally up to 37, this would probably only come up to maybe $16 or something. Then we jump back to mid to low 20s. You could make a lower low here or something into later this year. So it wouldn't be that surprising. If I was going to bet on some alts, AVAX is definitely one of them right now, especially the ones that are hitting major support right here. Could be a trap. I want to wait at least, though, until we get this. This would probably happen pretty soon, but yeah, there would be a bullish div. You could get that. Maybe that would be potentially a point to get in, but you might want to wait till the next one, September, October, to get in, start converting Bitcoin over to some of these. So that's what I'm looking for right there. And we could go to Ethereum for some short-term analysis here. It's kind of that same pattern. I don't even know if the triple top, bull flag, something like that. I mean, either going to probably break up or break down. We're coming into Monday tomorrow. So if you break upward, that area. If you break downward, point of control right there. Now let's analyze, which way it could happen. We confirmed a trigger wave in the hourly. That looks pretty good for the bullish case of breaking up. That absolutely looks pretty good for the bullish case of breaking up. And if we also look at the money flow, is not bad here. Money flow still coming up, and you're not really getting any bearish divs there. Here, not a bearish div. Money flow still good, so nothing looks too bad. And the more you zoom out, the more this looks like, okay, you are getting a bearish div on the 10-hour, but money flow is coming up. So yeah, the more you zoom out, the more it looks like a bull pennant, bull flag or something to break upward here. So Yeah, absolutely. You know, your gap to RSIs look like they could curve up again too. Be careful with the trend reversal. I mean, there's always going to be a bearish case, but it does look like a little bit. We got a little bit of gas left in the tank at least. And I mean, if you do, say Bitcoin comes up to, you know, where would this end up? If Bitcoin goes up to 37, 38K or something, let's do a little bit of, you know, 2000. I mean, 2000 would be the technical target out of there, and then that would be the technical target breaking out of this kind of volume area place from the low to the high. You do have a spiral line up here. Even if you do jump from this area up to 14%, don't get too excited, guys, because Bitcoin at 37, that's like 18%, I think, from where we are right now. I just want to see real quick from where we are. We're at about 30.5. So if you were to come up to this spiral line right here, that's 22%. So that's kind of my estimate if we do continue that rally. It's going to be a Bitcoin dominant rally. So be careful with, you know, putting everything into ETH. Just focus. You know, don't make it too complicated. We're in that accumulation phase that doesn't come around, only comes around every couple years. Don't be stupid. You know, just keep it simple. The Bitcoin accumulations right now, don't get tied up in alts and other garbage and Peppy or whatever, whatever the kids are talking about these days. Be careful with that. It's obviously not financial advice, but that's just what I'm doing. And I've done really well based on a lot of my strategies in terms of you know, coming into the red here, DCAing based on this, done, you know, pretty well. I even did some of my first, I mean, I was, to be fair, I mean, I was DCAing back here. I did buy this dip, you know, waited, and then started buying more when it came to the red here, held off in the green there, and then bought more as kind of we, you know, came up and then started to come down here a bit. So it's ultimately, you know, I think you get up to 37 or whatever, you know, we're going to have a pullback at some point. I mean, even if it's like kind of 2015, I mean, I think it kind of looks more like you'd see that type of pullback. And say this over here is 37, then you come down to 32. It could be more like that, and then you're somewhat home free, although I don't think it's going to be just that, that straight up. That would be kind of too good to be true. There's too much trading and people to knock it down now. But yeah, that's ultimately what I'm looking at right there. Went through Bitcoin, you know, ETH. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys about right now. In terms of trading, let's just look at some potential setups. I mean, it would be a little bit risky, but and by the way, guys, me and Atlanta Core Crypto Bull Zone, two other amazing pro analysts, we do a lot of trade setups and entry point stop loss. Just take profits. If I do say so myself, I think it's the best trading community, best crypto trading community out there. I'm a little biased though, but do encourage you guys to check it out if you're interested. You know, something like this, trying to trade up the breakout, you know, upward, that could be a dang good, a really good, you know, kind of risk reward ratio maybe from right there. I'm still in the Bitcoin long, you know, right there. I could add a little bit to it. It's a risk-free trade right now, which is what I may do. So that's what I'm looking at. And if we break down, you know, maybe that 2 hour actually comes into the red here. This trigger wave doesn't really give us what we need. We break down. Then on that money flow crossover, potentially try to short back down to the volume area high. Looking more bullish right now, but we'll see what happens. I mean, either way could play out. As Mark Douglas says, you know, you don't need to know what's going to happen to make money. You don't need to know what's going to happen to make money. So always keep that in mind. The same thing could be kind of said about ETH, maybe trying to go long in that trigger wave. I mean, stop loss below there and then taking profits there would probably, you know, kind of work out. Or, you know, the technical target's going to be up around a little bit below. I'm just kind of freelancing this, but, you know, just below 2000, I would say would be the good place to take profits for that kind of longer one. You know, if you want a better kind of risk reward ratio there. Going to be risky though, especially on the weekend, especially on a Sunday. That's a real good risk reward ratio. Don't know if it'll play out that well. I usually take more conservative risk reward ratios, but yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I got right now. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and check out the Discord below. Check out MEXC and FAIRDESK. There's a trading competition going on with MEXC only with my link down below. FAIRDESK has a good promo too as well. And yeah, that's it, guys. Have a good one. Goodbye.